So Wuthering Waves version 2.1 has been a massive success all around. I feel like a lot of people have been really enjoying this update, and it's had a pretty positive feedback from a lot of the community. But recently Wuthering Waves were actually featured in something pretty big for last year's versions, being the 1.0 versions, and it's kind of surprising to see. But in this video we're going to be going over what exactly they've been recognized for, and also how Gacha Games have been stepping up their advertising, and how this has actually come to be, and why version 2.0 has been so successful in terms of marketing and advertising, and some little things that they could improve on that I've been talking about for the past couple of videos I've made on Wuthering Waves' advertisement. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy it, and also go to Game Services code Gacha, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend going over there, taking a little look. They got a new event on the moment, so I definitely recommend checking that out. And yeah, let's get back into the video. So this was one of the first posts I saw from Narashio saying one of the top PC game titles of 2024 on Epic Games is the legendary Wuthering Waves. Now, they say one of the top, they put it here at legendary, which again is really exciting to see, and is up there with games like Fall Guys, FIFA, Destiny 2, Alan Wake 2. Again, these are some pretty big games, especially compared to Wuthering Waves being a gacha game. Honestly, I think that's a really great achievement for Wuthering Waves. But what Narashio actually managed to miss out here, I don't know if this was intentional or if this was just them highlighting Wuthering Waves in general. Well, actually there is a tier above this with Mythic. So obviously higher up is actually Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, and then also you got like Rocket League, Grand Theft Auto, and Fortnite, which again are all massive games. These are, you know, some of the biggest games that are out at the moment. And well, Wuthering Waves is literally one step below, which I think is still great, but it was a little bit weird how it was left out that they weren't in the top. But you know, they kind of made it seem like they were at the top. They say one of the top. I feel like this is the top. This is second to top, but it doesn't really matter. I do think that Wuthering Waves are still absolutely killing it, and over on Epic Games as well, which actually kind of surprised me. Wuthering Waves, you can actually play it over on Epic Games, I'm pretty sure, which is just great for people trying to download it easy, and also great for discovery as well. I feel like moving over to other platforms is something that Wuthering Waves really needs to do. It's something that, you know, they have been doing, but I think the expansion needs to be a little bit quicker, and they actually need to get, you know, on course with it, because Epic Games obviously is a kind of store site, meaning that you're allowed to browse. You can browse through different games, you can browse through free-to-play games, which is probably the most like crucial part, because a lot of people do like to scroll through the free-to-play section to see if there's a game that they can play without spending any money, and Wuthering Waves obviously will be featured there, which might entice someone to download it. So I think that is one of the ways that Wuthering Waves could get a lot of players to come over to their game, is just by advertising on sites like this and on different stores like this to actually get a little bit more discoverability, rather than using a lot of really expensive ways of advertising, you know, including like making trailers and stuff like that, which obviously is much more expensive and obviously does get a lot of players, but literally just sticking it on something like the Epic Games Store doesn't cost as much, and also you could get quite a few other players. And that's why also Gacha Games have been developing a new cloud gaming system. Now obviously this is less to do with like what platforms are on, because it's actually made by Gacha Games themselves, I'm pretty sure, and this is actually started testing over in China. Now obviously we have GeForce Now, which also is a pretty good way of discoverability too, just like the Epic Games Store is. GeForce Now pretty much takes all the brunt end of all of the kind of computer mechanics and stuff like that, and then pretty much streams it to your computer, meaning that you can play it on like the most you know, terrible laptop possible and it would still work, which I think is great. And I think that Gacha Games are also kind of working on their own one, meaning that players that maybe don't have access to GeForce Now, which I think is the case over in China, well, they'll be able to play it on their own kind of launcher thing made by Kuro, which I think is a really good step forwards, because it allows even more players to play the game. Now obviously some other kind of stores and stuff I'd like to see Wuthering Waves come to, it's probably Steam. I think Steam would be a really cool one. We've seen a lot of gacha games go over there recently. Obviously I'm pretty sure it's Girls Frontline 2 over there. I'm pretty sure it's over there. We've got Tower of Fantasy and some other ones. Obviously there isn't really many massive ones I don't think over there. I mean, we've got like Honkai Impact 3rd if I remember correctly, but again it does kind of provide this really good source of discoverability. I know a lot of people don't like it going over to different platforms, but we're not saying that, you know, it has to go strictly over to Steam and stay on Steam nowhere else. No, we're saying that they should branch out to every single platform, allowing them to kind of spread the amount of people that actually see the game, and it will, you know, at least bring in one player. You know, I'm sure it bring in way more than one player, but you know, at the very least, if you really want a very minimum, it will bring in at least one player, which I think is going to be very positive for the game. I think, you know, it could bring in thousands of players in my opinion, and it can kind of expand the overall audience of Wuthering Waves, which is really great to see. Now obviously Narashio also says in the tweet it's a top PC game, game, which again is true, and it's great to see that this is one of the top PC games. We don't get a lot of fan analytics for the PC version of Wuthering Waves for some reason. I think it's just because it's harder to track. Usually whenever we see stuff like revenue, we see stuff like analytics or charts, it's all to do with mobile, and you know, obviously mobile is a massive part of Gacha Games. It's probably maybe even one of the biggest ones. I'm not too sure in Wuthering Waves' part, because again, it is a very good game to play on PC, but it's good to see that we have some kind of statistic for PC gaming, and they're actually doing as good as games like FC24, Alan Wake, and stuff like that. So again, that's really good to see. And also, finally, just one other thing that I wanted to talk about was the advertising that Wuthering Waves has been doing recently. I think it's been pretty good. I feel like the advertising for Wuthering Waves has been pretty decent, but the fact is, you know, obviously it's become a little bit predictable, and I think that needs to change a little bit. Now, obviously, this trailer here, the Overture story trailer, which is behind my head, sorry about that. The Overture story trailer, which gave us a little bit of a roadmap of what's going to happen, was actually great, and this is one of the really good advertising things that Wuthering Waves have actually added to their kind of YouTube channel and added to their kind of roster of advertisements. So it kind of gives people an idea of what's going to happen, which a lot of people have been asking for, which is, you know, the roadmap kind of thing. Now, obviously, a lot of the other advertisements, though, have become a little bit predictable. For example, the Phoebe showcase and stuff, which I think should still go on. But I think one way to actually improve a lot of the advertisement is to add just some small little trailers, some small little animated shorts or whatever, as I said, like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact do. I've made a whole video on this in the past, and honestly, I think the game could really benefit from it. I know it costs quite a bit to produce this, it can cost quite a bit to actually make this, but I feel like it would definitely make a couple of waves in the YouTube community, and also just any social media community, because it did for all of these other games. And you know, having a animated kind of short, having some kind of short out there for the game would actually entice a lot of people to come over to the game, not only just making it go really popular on all of these sites, but also a lot of people would be like, oh, I kind of like this animation, maybe I should play the game. And yeah, it just brings in a lot of people, and I think it's a no-brainer to actually work on this. And we're down into 2.1 and we still haven't seen anything, but hey, maybe they're still working on it. Maybe we'll still get some, you know, even cooler stuff in the future. And I hope the Gacha Games do add some more animated shorts and just some more different kind of interesting marketing ideas to their kind of, you know, campaigns and stuff like that. Now, they have added some things, but honestly, I think, you know, they could go a little bit further, which would be really nice to see. Because even just taking a quick scroll through the YouTube channel here, you can see, you know, it just goes Combat Ready to Showcase. Then we've got like, you know, RTX stuff, and then the preview of the world. And then it goes, you know, Combat Resonator Showcase, and then, you know, or just the Resonator Showcase even. We got like fan animations, which are great. And obviously these were all featured on the Solaris Starry Stage event, which was a really good event that Wuthering Waves have been doing. Pretty much getting a lot of the fans, a lot of the players to create content and upload it for a competition thing, which was good. And they've also been advertising that over their page, which I think is great as well. But, you know, it's just one of these things where, you know, they should also be making stuff themselves as well. You can actually see it did 222,000 views, which is pretty decent. So, you know, these kind of cinematic things work. And I think that if they worked on one themselves, it could do really good. So again, it just seems like the marketing just seems to be the same thing over and over again. But it's not terrible, but it could be improved a little bit. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you guys have any kind of ideas of what kind of marketing changes you want them to make and what they should actually add to their YouTube channel, to their store, to their whatever. Literally any kind of ideas, because again, I'm very interested in what you guys think. And yeah, that's what I got for this video. So if you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also to game subs, as I said, use my code KAZA, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.